Good afternoon. Wednesday. G is for gratitude. Hey, the other day I couldn't get on, just the day got away from me, and I was going to dive a little bit deeper again into the 5-second rule and how it applies with gratitude. But since yesterday, was asked to come on and provide why gratitude works with an organization that deals with loss and grief. And now when we talk about loss and grief, many times we only think about the loss of a loved one at death. But grief is an area that we need to understand, and how gratitude works with loss and grief. So today I'm going to cover those principles that I'll be using tomorrow. And I'm also going to put under this video, when I post it Thursday at 10:45 a.m., I'm jumping on as the guest for Daryl Powers, and bring in how to use gratitude to deal with a loss under the circumstances of COVID. And we can take a good hard look at what's happened with COVID. We have lost a lot. We've lost the ability to intermingle with people. We've lost the ability to be with our loved ones if they're in the hospital or in assisted living. We've had a loss of maybe income or our businesses. We're experiencing a lot of loss, and that comes with that is grief. And it's an emotional thing, and how gratitude helps us work within that area. So I'm going to be covering those principles here today with you on gratitude and how it works, and why it's important to have gratitude as part of keeping your emotional well-being and abundance in homeostasis, is the best way I put it, in balance. Not using gratitude as a putting your head in the sand type thing. No, it doesn't do that, but it does change a lot of things around us. But before I forget, Friday, my guest is going to be this gentleman right here, J.R. Honorstall. Now he's going to light it up. He's a photographer, but he's going to talk about his pivot, his change. So I definitely want to make sure that you're marking your calendars and your notifications to welcome JR on Friday. So mark your calendars, turn on your notifications. Like I said, him being a photographer, myself being a photographer, we're in the same age group, how we're pivoting and what we're doing in our lives. A lot of people say, "You're how old?" And I share, and they say, so it's never too late to go after what you want in life. And he's going to share what he's been doing, shifting and going after things in the final stages of what I would call our window of life. So JR, so mark your calendars. I'm excited to have him on. But let's get back to today's topic. On Monday, I covered the 5-second rule, and I'm not discounting, we're going to get back into it, but I believe the combination of the 5-second rule, taking that thought, that grief feeling, or that loss feeling that we have, our emotions, and being able to use the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to reframe ourselves, to shift that negative feeling or attitude to a positive feeling, so that we can be more effective in the areas of loss and grief. Because many times those things are so deep in emotions that we get stuck. So the 5-second rule is that whether it's dealing with a negative situation or a fear, we have losses. How do we deal with it? How do we shift our emotions to look at those losses and open up different channels of way of thinking or responding? And gratitude's not woo-woo. There's science, there's research behind the power of gratitude and how it affects us at a deep emotive level and why it works. Understanding gratitude may be one of the most powerful grief healing tools we have. And right now, many of us are grieving. Can't be with our parents, can't be with our loved ones. We're separated from our work environment. We're grieving, we're lost. Gratitude may be one of the best vehicles you can use to reposition a gift. Loss. How are you dealing with loss? What are you doing to address loss in a different way? See, we have never been trained or understand how loss and grief affect us at emotional. Yeah, we've experienced it, but how to deal with it. And we hear the typical cliches, time will pass, I know how you feel. None of that stuff is correct. How do we change and look at loss and grief differently? And it's through gratitude. See, when we lose somebody we lose somebody to death, we're grieving because we loved. There's that deep connection. And how do we connect to what we loved so that we can maintain that loss and the grieving in a perspective that's healthy and that allows us to move forward with it? Because everybody deals with loss and grief differently. What is gratitude for? Gratitude has the power to help those in mourning rise above the loss. It's life affirming. Life affirming. It can provide hope. And perhaps most importantly, it can help us get past and focus on the abundance that surrounds us now. What we have. If you lost your job, are you focusing on what you lost or focusing on the abundance side? Changes the energy. Be grateful for what you have and how can you shift that energy instead of reacting to the loss of the job or the circumstance. What is the good? What can I take from it? How can I shift myself and take action in a different way? And it goes back to the 5-second rule again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Understand the thought, the feelings, what's the direct opposite, and then change that. Doesn't mean that your job is going to magically show up again, but what it does is it allows you to reframe, deal with the emotions in a way that you can respond versus react, and then move forward, take action in the direction of the attitude of gratitude. Changes everything. Don't focus on the circumstances. Focus on gratitude, what you have, the talent you have. If you lost your job, you've got talent, you can get another job. It's an inconvenience right now. Are you focusing on inconvenience or are you focusing on opportunity, exploring opportunity? Yeah, it's sad if you lose something you had in your life. It maybe have an impact on how you're going to pay your bills. Gratitude. Being grateful for the circumstances you're in. See, gratitude is essential to work through those conditions. It's essential. There's a lot of research and science, and I encourage you to reach out to me, and I can demonstrate how gratitude could work. And how do you go through a gratitude process? I've got a 21-day gratitude process that I can walk you through, help you better understand how to get through loss. You know, the losses of COVID and all the things that it has created and the circumstances and how it's affected us on an emotional level. And we're grieving over that. And we have not been taught how to grieve. We're all going to grieve differently, but how to deal with it in a way that gives you emotional abundance, positive abundance to move through it. See, when we face demoralization, gratitude has the power to energize. The power to energize. When we're defeated and we feel like we're defeated, we've been kicked while we're down, we need to know how to re-energize that energy to get up off the ground through gratitude. In the face of brokenness, hopelessness, when we move to an emotional state, we cannot see the possibilities around us. But gratitude has the power to heal. Has the power to heal. In the face of despair, gratitude has the power to bring hope, I just said. In other words, gratitude can help us cope with hard times. To help us cope with hard times. See, when it's easy to be grateful. Hey, I'm grateful that, my business is flourishing. I'm grateful that I'm healthy. I'm grateful for whatever. When things are going good, it's easy to be grateful. The challenge is, can you be grateful in hard times, in loss, in grief? See, it's our gratitude that keeps us healthy emotionally, psychologically, physically. Because if you go down the rabbit hole and not bring yourself out of that negative spiral emotionally, it will make you sick. You will manifest issues in health and behavior, addictions. And gratitude brings a different awareness. I always look, history tells us a lot too about gratitude. We look at the Pilgrims, and, the Pilgrims, the Thanksgiving, is they lost half of their population in that first winter. It could have been a lot of despair, and there was despair. There was a lot of fear, and a lot of them were going to make it. But when they got through the winter, they were grateful. Number one, that they made it, but they were also grateful for the experience. What did we learn from it? And they had the first Thanksgiving. So in hard times, depression. Our country went through depression. We went through a civil war. And it's through Thanksgiving and gratitude helps us heal losses, helps us get through grief of those circumstances. Are you feeling hopeless? I would encourage you to look into being grateful to see how that works. On the scientific side, why does it, when you move to a place of gratitude? See, keep in mind that you and I are neurochemistry factories, that our thinking triggers how we feel, and those feelings come from chemicals that our body releases from our brain into our system that gives us the feeling, the enjoyment, the sadness. Everything is a neurochemistry response to a thought. So here's the good thing. By changing your thought, you can change the feeling. And by changing the feeling, it changes everything. It gives you the ability to work with things. And gratitude does this. It works with the neurotransmitters. What does that mean? In our brain. When we express gratitude, the brain, not the mind, the brain releases dopamine and serotonin. Two critical neurotransmitters responsible for our emotions. And they make us feel good. They make us feel good. They enhance our mood immediately. See, this is the great thing about it. You don't have to take a pill and wait 40 minutes to see if there's an effect. Your thoughts, you can change everything immediately through the thought. Change the neurochemistry. Can make you happy. See, if you're upset and angry, you could just move to one thought, to a pleasing experience. You can't hold a negative and a positive in the same space. And by shifting that thought, shifts through neurochemistry, you become what? Feeling good. You're feeling happy, feeling euphoric. Or the other side, you're focusing on the negative. It makes you feel depressed. And those are all negative thoughts create neurochemistry in your body. But one thought can shift it. You know, I remember JR, who's coming on Friday, asked me when I came on his program. He asked me about my downfall, and I was into drugs. Do you have an inclination to go back? And I said in the beginning, yes. But by reframing my thinking, I got equal feelings. I didn't need to get high anymore. I could become euphoric and happy and experience those feelings by changing a thought. Now, did it change the circumstances that caused me to move in that area? No, but it allowed me to change my emotional thinking and feeling so that I can change my life and do the things that are pleasing. See, keep in mind, if the habits and disciplines and things you have right now are giving you negative results, you can change that by how you feel. You'll start changing behaviors because you get a better feeling. So teaching sales, picking up that phone, is your vision strong enough? Your why strong enough? Because if they are, you will do those things that give you pleasing results. And I'd be glad to talk to you about that. So all my programs deal with how we formulate our feelings and our thoughts. Our thoughts create our feelings, and how we can shift our feelings through thinking. Doesn't change the circumstance, doesn't change the fact that you lost your job, but it does change how you view losing the job through gratitude and focusing on an avenue that will give you more pleasing results. To do those things, get out of your pity party, as some people may say. Just suck it up. It's hard to shift your thinking in the area of loss. It's easy to be grateful when things are going good. But man, if you can learn this process in your thinking, gratitude, you'll be grateful that you discovered it. It is a very powerful word. Science backs it in understanding that. So it goes back again to what I shared on Monday, the 5-second rule. What are you grateful for? And if you have that negative thought, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, replace it with you're grateful for. Watch the feelings, watch the emotions, see how you respond. You're going to like the feeling. That's why you'll go back to doing that thought process, because the feelings is what you're going after. It's the feelings. when you're chasing success. It's the feelings, not the end result. It's if you understand that process, then you do all the other things necessary. So gratitude, that's the foundation of my coaching. And vision, helping people better understand visions versus goals, how gratitude comes into play, how the 5-second rule can learn that tool. Like on Monday, I talked about the pink elephant. If you didn't get that, if you're here watching this again, pink elephant, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, shift your thought to something totally opposite that is something that you wish to obtain or makes you feel good. Blue elephant. So you can't occupy a pink elephant in thought and picture in mind and blue at the same time. You can't. Which one do you want to focus on? I'm focusing on the blue elephant, not the pink elephant. And I pursue and I take all the action necessary to maintain that feeling. And I'll do it again. I'll do it over and over again. Every time I see pink, I'm going to see a pink elephant, but I go 5, 4, 3, 2, and blue elephant. After a while, it just becomes instantaneous blue elephant. My behavior, my actions will support the outcome I seek. It becomes instantaneous. And that's one of the things that's important to know. And how do you learn that? Yeah, you can get information out of a book, but more importantly is having somebody guide you through that process is so important. So with that all said, take this information and just tag your friends. About Friday, JR's coming on. Share this out with your friends. You may know somebody's in loss right now and needs a boost. Maybe it's you, but reach out. Send me an email. Put gratitude in there. Put gratitude in the subject line. Schedule a time. I'd be glad to share with you some of these principles and how it's helped in my life, how it's helped in my clients' lives. So with that all said, Wednesday, I'm so grateful for this moment. I am so grateful. I'm grateful that I have the health and the well-being to be here today and to share. I'm grateful. So share this out. It may make the difference in somebody else's life. What are you grieving over? What are some of the losses? How can I get through them? How can I shift my thinking to move my life emotionally to a better place? And a very simple process is understanding how our mind thinks. And so with that all said, it is gratitude. Thank you for being here today. Again, share it out. Mark your calendars, 1 p.m. Central Time. JR is coming on. He's going to light you up, man. He's a painter of light. He is a master photographer, but he's going to share his story that it's never too late to shift and pivot and go after a new vision in life. So with that all said, have a good one. See you tomorrow afternoon. I'm also going to put under here tomorrow's link to the live stream that's going through on Facebook with Daryl Powers. And I'm coming on in the last part of the segment to help people better understand how gratitude can help in the loss and the grief that we're experiencing today, especially with COVID. Especially with COVID, many people are suffering. And so join in. So with that all said, have a great day. It is with